Okay, what we have here is an Asus P4P800 motherboard with a Pentium 4 2.8 gigahertz CPU on it. Got 1 gig of RAM, two 512 meg modules, 333, but I guess running at 320, just because that's what the system runs at, and a piece of crap GeForce 4MX that only works if I don't have the AGP card slot lock engaged, which is kind of interesting. I've got it on this motherboard tray. I'm going to throw the whole mess, power supply included, into that case over there. So we'll do that. I'll get some cabling for that optical drive that's in there. Probably we'll put in a floppy drive, and obviously it's going to need a hard drive. I'm probably going to adjust the optical drive while I'm at it, because it's in entirely the wrong position on that case anyway. So, okay, skipping ahead a little bit. The board is in place. All the screws and everything. This drive cage has got to be one of the worst designs ever devised by mankind. It's not in place properly, and I don't care. It's in place enough. You can access the floppy drive from the front, so I don't care. It's going to stay that way. Now I got to install the video card and the power supply, and junk this thing up with even more wiring. Oh, I also got to get a SATA cable for that hard drive, because I am going to use a SATA hard drive, at least for the time being. Okay, we are now completely hooked up, including our power supply here. Let's see what goes bang when I hit the switch. Where's the switch? That didn't immediately explode. Let's see if it posts. Yep, look at that. Actually managed to have a working system out of the box. Now I'll screw that video card in and find that it probably won't work anymore. Alright. So, well, our drive is plugged into the wrong place. But I'm going to shut this down, screw that video card in. And, then we can finally get set to installing an operating system. Okay. USB. We are going to do a graphical install. Hopefully it will actually let me do that. It didn't just blow up. No, it's loading off the disk. So I do need that mouse though, because that might be important. What we're going to try and do is something different with this. I haven't done with another system, because the presence of 32-bit operating systems is dwindling very quickly if you want to run something other than Windows XP. Which, I mean, that'd be nice to run something other than Windows XP on something for once. So what we're going to do is we're going to install... It used to be called Raspbian. I'm going to call it Raspbian because that's what it is. I guess they're calling it Raspberry Pi Desktop now. But it's Raspbian, let's face it, that's what it is. And they have an x86 version, and we're going to try and install that. Okay, this is Debian 11. Click continue. Detecting hardware to find installation media. I don't know why this is taking this long. Come on. It's 10 o'clock. This is starting to get a little silly. How long some of these things take. This is one of those Linux-isms that really does not make any sense to me. You booted and launch the installer from the installation media. There's only one thing to boot from. You've already mounted it. It's already there. Use that, shut up, and let me do my job so I can finish this project at a decent time. But no, instead we got to do this. Apparently it's got to redo what it's already did because it's too stupid to do it properly. Here's another Linux-ism that I would like to point out that I will never understand how it manages to do this. In one of the previous videos that I made, I was running Linux Mint, and Linux Mint had managed to not work with PS2 peripherals. Do you notice something missing from my boot order here? Where's my hard disk drive? That is right there. Plugged in. I haven't changed anything. You saw it on the first boot, and it's not there anymore. That makes no sense to me. It should never have even touched that. But yet, here we are. In the year of our Lord, 2022, almost 2023, and it doesn't work. Is it any wonder why people still buy Windows licenses? Is it any wonder why Microsoft is still in business? This is why. Because this should not happen. Somebody's going to chastise me for using like 20-year-old hardware in this video. First of all, it's 15-year-old hardware. Get it right. Second of all, well, you might be right on the case of the power supply. That's almost 20 years old, but the rest of this hardware is not all that old. Certainly less than 20 years. So again, get it right. Second of all, it doesn't matter. What we have right here is a Linux distribution that is 32-bit that is designed explicitly to support older, less privileged hardware, which is what this is. What are these people doing with their lives? So whatever, fine. If it doesn't want to work with the serial ATA, I have an 80GB drive here. That's going in there. I gotta find a cable for it now because I was expecting something to actually work. Oh boy. So, gotta find a cable for that. Gotta pull this out. That's gonna be a real pain because I hate this drive cage and it was a pain to get it in there in the first place. I might just not bother. I think I'm gonna just leave it in there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna just leave it in there and I'm gonna attach this with one screw because I just don't care at this point. I want this done. This should have been done like 20 minutes ago. But instead, Linux has got to sit here and fight me every step of the way. I can't get over that. Just the very fact that friggin' SATA, which has been a thing for I don't know how many centuries now, and it doesn't work. And where is the average user supposed to be in this? I know a thing or two about computers. I've been around the block. You've probably perused my channel a little bit to find some cannon fodder for supporting your stupid, baseless argument as to why I'm stupid. You know, like, where would an average user who knows nothing about computers be at this point? Probably hawking the thing right out the window and buying something new. Maybe that's what I should do. Stop wasting my time with this stupid junk and move on to something new. I've certainly got plenty of it. Okay, well, it got further with the IDE drive than it did with the serial ATA one. So, I don't know. Maybe there is something slightly broken about the SATA implementation on this board. Maybe there's a special mode that it has to be in. I don't know. I've never had issues like that before, though. So, it's... Quite frankly, if something is broken in some aspects, it's broken and needs to be fixed. So... I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I don't even know what's on this hard drive, if anything. I'm going to assume it's nothing useful. We'll go for the guided to use entire disk. LVM is nonsense, so we're not even going to bother. All files in one partition. I don't really care. That's all that should be changing. We'll write the changes. And then it will do the install. Now, my power LED is not working on the front of the case because it's set up to be a 2-pin, and this motherboard apparently needs a 3-pin. Okay, here's yet another Linuxism. The installation has finished. But we're sitting at this dumb pre-seed thing, whatever that's supposed to be. It doesn't really describe what it's doing or anything like that. There's no progress bar. So, okay. You know what we're gonna do? Because I don't have time for this. It's done the installation. That's what we're gonna do. Let's see how it recovers from that. I love how it's half off the screen. Yeah, it's complaining about the floppy drive. Which makes sense, there's no floppy in the drive. The picture just got corrupted, which is good. Nouveau errors, which is good. I'm sure having only 1 gig of RAM really is not the best thing in the world for this. We'll see if it'll actually manage to start the video. I guess even if it doesn't, I really don't care. I'm going to close the video. If it decides it's not going to work. Because, again, it's 11 o'clock at night. This is something that should have been done an hour and 20 minutes ago. And here we are. Ooh, that looks good. Looks like it works well. This is why I usually don't run Linux on systems that have video cards in them. Because what you end up with is this. So, you know what? I am honestly at the point right now where the next thing that goes wrong with this computer, it's going flying over my backyard fence. So, in the interest of saving the hardware, because it's not necessarily the hardware's fault, it's the fact that Linux can't be asked to work properly, I'm going to shut this down, and we're going to close the video with that. I'll revisit it at some other time, either with a different video card, because let's face it, it's a GeForce 4 MX, it's pretty old. But we'll either get a different video card, or we'll install something that's not Linux on this, because it seems to me that Linux doesn't work if you're using a video card. You know. You can say what you want, it doesn't work. Here's your proof. And I've had enough, so we're ending it with that.